starts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
know. Did you?
so
Why did you
I-
pick that number? Is there anything to do with that?
No, I didn't. So when I initially came in, I just asked Coach Chris, like any number is like cool, but preferably if I could get a single digit, that would make my day. So originally you so childish. I was originally supposed to have number 10, but then they gave me number 2. So I was just like, okay. And then I learned about the significance of number 2 and great guys before me to wear Jamar Fletcher, Scott Starks. I've talked to Scott Starks a couple of times. We have some phone calls and some text messages. He's a great guy. Some guy I can go to advice for advice sometimes. So yeah, I know that. I never got to talk to Jamar Fletcher, but I know how amazing he was. Jumped off award winner and also a first round pick here. So I know kind of how the standard for number 2 is, and I know I gotta ultimately live up to that standard if I want to wear the number.
Did you talk to Starks after the Michigan State game at any point? Because I remember as a freshman, he had moments like that,
Yeah.
right, where he got picked on and you had to quickly forget. I don't know. Is that ever a topic of conversation? Or
No, sir.
Okay.
Because I talked to Scott Starks this year, like a little bit like before the spring and during the springtime. I just told him, but that actually did come up during our conversation a little bit. He said, I had some moments like that my first year playing, so just get past it. You know how good you are. You're gonna make those plays. Just keep working. You're gonna be good.
who set that up, that conversation?
Yeah, I actually DM'd him myself because I remember my freshman year. We went to the donor luncheon, and I think he was my donor initially, but he didn't end up coming. But he followed me one day after the game, and I just DM'd him. I was like, hey, I'm a big fan of you and your work you did here. Would love to get in contact with you if possible. So we set that up, got his number. Been talking to him ever since.
That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Rico, you've been transparent about your season last year. Just reflecting back in the way that you've kind of, gotten on the stage with the amount of interceptions this year. Kind of, what have you? Has there been a moment of reflection? Kind of throughout the season.
Yeah. Ultimately, so I used to before the season, I watched my entire Michigan State game just to kind of, I know I really watched that because I wanted to make a point of this won't happen again. I'm going to be better this year. I won't let this happen to me again. And I won't be a reason this team loses. Just kind of like that. So that was a big reflection moment for me before the season, and just kind of knowing that ultimately what I had to do and how I wanted to attack this season and just be better.
Who did you say you were talking to? Sorry, I missed the.
Oh, I was talking to Scott Starks. I have a little bit of a relationship with him. We chat every now and then, get on the phone, text. He texted me after Georgia Southern and also the Purdue game. I'm pretty sure he texted me this game. My phone's been blowing up. I haven't been able to really check it, but he's a guy I can go to for advice. Talk to him a couple times. He's a great guy. I forgot initially what he said, but I think he has some business out in Jacksonville. I'm not completely sure though.
When did you first have communication with Scott?
I
Was
think
it last year or not?
it was this year. I think
Okay.
it was around. I can't remember if it was after spring or before spring, but it was somewhere around that time.
Okay.
But I DM'd him because he followed me. I think it was a little bit closer to the spring game. I DM'd him because he followed me, and then we got in contact. Told him I would love everything he did here, and just would be great to have the opportunity to connect with him and stuff like that.
The reason I ask is if he can help you, give you tips, whatever. Did he tell you about his freshman year against Michigan State? Here?
Well, yeah, we kind of touched on it a little bit. He told me he had a little rough game and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So kind of just we were kind of blessed for me to be in the same situation as him, to be able to talk to him about it and stuff like that. He just told me, it's just like everybody's gonna have those. You're gonna have bad games. You're gonna have plays given up against you, but you just got to keep pushing forward and keep moving forward.
Rico, on that interception, it seemed like you were passing off, the receiver onto the interior guy. Was it more so passing it off and making, or was it more so instinct on kind of jumping that pass?
Kind of. So we talked about it. That's one of our plays. We were just kind of, if that guy comes out, we're gonna switch it, and then we're just gonna switch it. So it was a little bit of both, kind of communication and instincts. As soon as I seen my guy, I think I can't remember. I think it might have been Preston on the field with me. Or I don't know if it was Preston or I think it was Preston. But yeah. So as soon as I seen my guy shoot in, I just told him switch, and I was able to jump in front of it. So I was able to see him last minute and kind of jump in front of it and go make the interception.
It seems like you've had now, I think that was your second interception on a very similar
Yeah,
concept.
yes, sir.
Have you just been able to instinctually been able to diagnose these kind of things and gotten that comfortability this year?
Yeah, so I think it kind of goes along with my feel for the game. I ultimately know that I don't want to just be like a guy that covers and just doesn't make plays. Ultimately, if I can make a play, I'm going to shoot it. And I think that's one of the things about my game. I'm not afraid to fail. You know, I've done it before. As you guys can see with Michigan State, I'm not afraid to fail. You know, having that under my belt, I'm just going to try to make plays any opportunity I can. So whenever I see, especially if like we're in a formation where I can have eyes, I can see guys coming up, I see the guys running across. You know, ultimately, if I can make the play, I'm going to try to make that play.
One more here for Rico.
Rico, I know he's on the other side of the ball, but I want to ask you about Tanner Mordecai. What does he do that makes him such an effective quarterback from a defender's standpoint?
Tanner's amazing. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he does because, you know, just being so mobile, kind of being able to affect the game, whether he's running or passing, he's just the ultimate threat. And I think he does a great job at really managing the game and making smart decisions and, you know, not putting our offense in bad situations. So I think he's a great quarterback, you know, one of the better guys in the country, in my opinion. And he doesn't get enough credit. I think he's awesome. I can't wait to see how he keeps improving this year.
All right.